What's up, chats? How's it going? Welcome back to the stream. It's Monday. We are indulging in some mayhem today. We had a big weekend, or not a big weekend. I would say a relatively small weekend for 40K this weekend. But we did have two Easter GTs go down. First of all, for all the folks who are into Easter and all that stuff, happy Easter, happy holiday. Hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. And I hope everyone who played in the two majors that went down this week had a good time. But what I want to do is talk a little bit about the results of those majors. We had some relatively expected winners. Blood Angels, Orcs, Astra Militarum, pretty standard stuff. A little bit of Eldar going undefeated as well from Glasshammer. But especially at the West Coast GT, we had some kind of like crazy X1s, which I'm kind of excited to break down. A little bit of an odd one out in terms of GT results this week. Nurgle Matt's here too? Hell yeah. Nurgle Matt's in every 40K stream. If you stream 40K, regardless of how big you are, Nurgle Matt is in your chat right now, currently. It's wild. I don't know how he does it. The man's got like some sort of super villain like Batcave lair with nothing but a bunch of computer monitors, all of them playing different Warhammer 40K live streams. Welcome in, everybody. How's it going? Keith Zimmerman, what's up? Jimmy Bo, happy Easter Monday indeed. Hope everyone found their candy eggs and all that. Michael Allen with all the tortoise emojis, appreciate that. Jean-Marc is here. Jose, what's up, everybody? So yeah, that's what we're talking about today. A little bit of it, some interesting results over the weekend. Now, I posted for the Best Service 40K this morning that Emperor's Children were doing very well. They had two undefeated event results, going 5-0 in two separate GTs. Now, the GTs are relatively small. If we look back at our event list for the week, it's really short. So it was a little slim pickings in terms of the actual results this week. And some people were like, well, that doesn't mean that Emperor's Children are doing particularly well. First of all, I think in terms of basically like 16 plus player 5-round events, which is essentially what I looked at this week, there are only, I think we only had results for like 10 or something, like 8, which means that Emperor's Children went undefeated in like between 20 and 25% of them. Also, most of the larger events, I don't believe allowed for Emperor's Children. I guess we could actually just take a peek here. Doesn't look like Glasshammer did. It doesn't look like West Coast did. I imagine that most of these other ones didn't. So, like, Emperor's Children were probably undefeated in like 60 to 80% of all relevant events, which is like crazy when you think about it. But we're not talking about them today. That's what I discussed over the weekend in my video. But I thought it was funny that people were like, well, they only won small stuff. They won everything they were allowed to be played in, essentially, at least as far as I could see, or just about close to it. Yeah, they're gonna hit the metagame like a ton of bricks for sure. They're gonna hit the metagame like a demon prince doing mortal wounds on the charge. Happy belated 420. I know it was funny. All my best service of 40K like save files. I got to say the 420 best service of 40K, pretty good stuff. Emperor's Children could play to Eldar. I could see that for sure. There's definitely some like weird stuff that Eldar does that's like mixed with Emperor's Children, but I do think they have like some good access to fight first, right? That can kind of like muck Emperor's Children. Emperor's Children do a lot of incidental shooting damage too, which can like really kind of mess with, which Eldar can mess with. So especially against light infantry armies, Emperor's Children really are excited about like, they have like a million little shots with all their little stuff. Like their guys can advance, shoot, and charge. So most of their units are like firing bolt pistols and firing plasma pistols and stuff. And their rhinos are firing like 16 bolter shots. And they don't really get those because you can fade away and then prevent their charges. So that's like kind of funny, but generally speaking, I think I agree with you too. For sure. Amount of bodies and speed helps it. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And also not relying entirely on shooting. Obviously playing into Ynnari gets really hairy if you're running like the triple noise marine builds, because you start to trigger lethal intent, which can fuck with your charges. But It's not like the end of the world, I think, for sure. But yeah, I definitely think Ember Children are gonna be looking pretty good. But that's neither here nor there, because we are gonna be talking about other factions today. So I want to talk about Wet Coast GT firstly, because I think the X1 position for this event is like wild. So if we take a peek down, this is obviously British Columbia, Canada, 150 players. I think they had a bunch of drops, it seemed like, but pre-event drops. But if we look down the X1, we can see some really interesting stuff. Drukhari represented Grey Knights with a crazy score, 2 100s and a 91 in the Grey Knight score. As well as Tyranids, Black Templars, Leagues of Votann, Imperial Knights, Thousand Suns. This event went wild, chat. I'm so excited. So I think we'll go down the line, and if there's any of these factions that you want me to talk about, then let me know. Did I watch the Wargames live stream of the Nerd Bar final game? I did not. Was it spicy? Was it like good? What's the skinny? I did see that Colin Watts won, and Colin Watts, I think, is generally a sweetheart on stream, but sometimes can be a very, he can be like a very exuberant personality, which I think rubs people the wrong way. He's like very emotional sometimes, which, you know, as someone who yells at my computer monitor a lot when I roll a bunch of ones, it was interesting. Yunari versus Liberator Soul Group. Liberator was very tall. Oh, interesting. Yeah, the Yunari list is insane. It was like 20 units. it was like a million of them. Pretty good stuff. All right, we're gonna talk about Necrons real quick here. Oh, it's an Obeisance fic. This is what I'm talking about, chat. This event is crazy. It's not even like, oh, we're playing Star Shatter Arsenal with Triple Doomsday Arc. Oh, we're playing Awakened Dynasty and there's a bunch of Necron raids. We're playing Obeisance Phalanx, you piece of crap. Get out of here with a Convergence of Dominion. What is happening? What is happening right now, chat? I'm gonna have to look up what most of this stuff does. What does a Convergence of Dominion do these days? So Obeisance Phalanx is obviously the Triarch detachment. You get like kind of a weird Oath of Moment. You get to choose an enemy and you get +1 to wound with Triarch and Noble and Lich Guard units against it. We're taking a Catacomb Command Barge, Imhotep the Stormlord, Overlord with Warrior Noble. That is -1 to be hit for his unit in melee. Pretty good, alongside a Lich Guard unit that can also be -1 to be wounded. Plus an Overlord with Honorable Combatant, which when he kills a character, removes the CP from your opponent's CP total, which is cute. That's only a 10.1. That's a points filler, but it's very cute. For Void Scythe Overlords with the Resurrection Orbs, we have 2 Annihilation Barges. That's kind of interesting. A lot of times, what we're trying to do is play the -1 damage strat quite a bit. Nano assembly protocols. Yeah, they can target any vehicle. Doesn't really matter what your keywords are. So having these little, relatively fast vehicles run around, and usually these are Triarch Stalkers. But I guess we wanted to pay 10 points less for distinctly worse profile. They're better at shooting, I guess, which is good. But they can be really annoyingly difficult to kill, right? Because you're trying to chew through an invulnerable save and a -1 damage effect, which could be tough. Canoptic Reanimator to respawn these dudes. Canoptic Spider for the 6-up Feel No Pain on the vehicles. Convergence of Dominion, which we'll talk about in a sec, because I unironically have no idea what it does in 7th edition. 2 Doomsday Arcs to hang out with the Spider, get that Feel No Pain. Also -1 damage there is good. Plus Locust Heavy Destroyer, 30 Lich Guard, 10 Triarch Praetorians. Holy shit. What is this list? The Triarch Praetorians are kind of interesting, especially with the +1 to wounds, because they have a multi-damage ranged attack. There's 3... Is that right? Yeah. Oh, it's 1 shot, strength 5, AP 2 damage. It's like kind of neat into medium stuff with +1 to wound. And then they're also the same profile in melee too, with 3 attacks as well. So, and they're relatively fast, move 10. Plus they deep strike, I believe. So you can do like rapid ingress plays, and you can use them as utility units too. I think they're generally not too bad. They're probably a little overcosted, although their melee profile is like acceptable. But the big benefit is that they obviously benefit from all the detachment synergies. All right, what is this Convergence of Dominion doing here? let's pull up its data sheet real quick. Jesus, it is only 60 points. It is a fortification though. Just the most trash unit keyword ever. Necron infantry units within 6 get 6+ feel no pain. Okay, well, we found it. So we have a 6+ feel no pain for vehicles off of the spider, and we have a 6 up feel no pain for infantry off of the fortification. It provides cover, which like largely doesn't matter, and then has the fortification roll. Okay, so just a 6+ feel no pain plus a gun, and you get 3 of them, right? No, it's just 1. Okay, it's up to 3 in a unit, but there's 60 points each. Is it range 18? Oh, it's only ballistic skill 4, but strength 6 AB2 3 damage. That's not too bad. 60 points for 6+ field pain on turn 1 is actually kind of sick. It lets you play like really like aggro with the Lich Guard. You could just like deploy them on the line, and you're like, I'm gonna like blank an awkward number of your 2 damage shooting, and then I'm just gonna reanimate a billion times because I have a reanimator right here. So like, do you want to shoot me? It's like a 4+ into a 6+ into a bunch of reanimation. I just get extra movement. And come at me, bro. I guess. That's really, really fascinating. That's super cool. Fortifications can do actions if the Catacomb Command Barge grants them OC. Oh, that's neat. And the Catacomb Command Barge were like, it is a noble or unit, so it gets the +1 to wound bonus, which is nice, right? But also it gives +1 OC to the Lich Guard, so they go to OC too. So then they're actually very good at taking objectives. Giving it +1 OC is actually neat. I gotta love that. I'll do some recover assets with my rock. Let's go. Also sounds good with the 20 warrior bricks. Yeah, you're often stringing those guys anyway, so that's also not too bad. Although, so sometimes they're taking Technomancers, which would mean that there's no synergy, but obviously it's good with the Oracan unit. Because if you're taking the Oracan unit, you have the 4+ Fiona Pain. Oh, excuse me, the 4+ Invulnerable Save, and then you can stack that with the 6 up Fiona Pain. It's kind of cute. Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. It's so funny. I've literally never seen this unit. Okay. I bought a Boosty account, so I wouldn't get ads on this on Wikipedia. And then it just logged me out. Sad. It's so funny. I've never seen this unit on the table in 10th edition. I saw it a couple times in 9th edition when you had to have like weird actions associated with it to like switch your command protocols and stuff. That was like very convoluted and stupid, but now it's much more reasonable, I think. Yeah. Plus, you get a gun. Every once in a while, you're going to kill a guy with that, and you're going to be like, hell yeah. Good job, Convergence of Dominion. Pretty proud of you, buddy. And it's not the easiest thing in the world to kill. Also, vehicle keyworded, right? So you can minus some damage it, too, randomly, if you want to. I like it, chat. This list is cool as fuck. Man, West Coast GT is a given today. That's a strong start. That's a very cool list. Eidevil Heimdall. Not only do you have a cool name, but you have a cool list, my guy. Congratulations. Also gets feel no pain from this biter. Hell yeah, dude. Oh, you're just in chat. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Congratulations. Congratulations for the X1. Dude, your list rules. I don't know why. I just didn't read your username. You've been posting for like 10 minutes, and I've been reading your posts. I just didn't read your YouTube account name. I'm sorry. I'm glad I actually noticed. I'm a professional live streamer, Chad. I swear. I do this for a living. Should we talk about some Drukhari, chat? Kieran Wilson, X1 with Drukhari, with a Reaper's Wager. By the way, I love these lists. The Necrons have a full city with multiple walls. I think that was Legend did. The Tomb Complex or whatever. Tomb Citadel, I think, was what it was. Is there a picture? Yeah, I think it's like this thing. Oh, somebody made it in Blender. Oh, here it is. It's really bad looking. Oh, great. Fucking fandom. God damn it. Get out of here. It's really bad looking, which is always really funny. It looks like somebody built it out of styrofoam and then they sold it. I think it was originally meant... So I was actually thinking about this the other day because I'm stacking up a huge collection of terrain. And I need to do something with it, and I don't know what that is yet. But I have Citadel Realm of Battle for all the people who remember that. And I believe that this was meant to be compatible with the Citadel Realm of Battle, which was a modular like gaming system of plastic plates, essentially, that you would assemble into a table. And the idea was that they would sell expansions to it. And they did like one, I think, where it was like a hill. You could buy the hill expansion. Cool, man. That's sick. And I believe that this was meant to be compatible, where it's basically like this half-inch little thing, and then there was a little tab at the bottom you could attach them together with. And I think this was meant to go on that, but I don't know. I don't think many people bought it. As it went to be a fortification or terrain. It used to have rules. I bet if we way back if we go to our Wahapedia, I think in 8th edition it had rules. If we go to our archive, I think that's in there. Necron Tomb Citadel. There it is, boys. I think this was banned in tournaments. Like WTC rules had a bunch of bans in 8th edition for like random shit. They just didn't let you play fortifications or like most Titanic units, I think, because they were just like, no. And they still do that, to be fair. But also, I think most tournament systems banned this because it was like, it was like impossible to play with. Like, what do you do? Like, do you put this in your deployment zone? Like, what is this? But it was like a funny system. It is. A Tomb Citadel is a single realm of battle tile, which is composed of a power crucible, tomb ziggurat, and 2 emplacement mounts, which are treated separately during the game. But if you aren't using the realm of battle like board, like you just put it on the table and like crush all the terrain on it, like. You can dock a monolith or sentry pylon with the tomb ziggurat during deployment, which gives all models of the docked unit +1 strength. Oh, and it has its own eternity gate and gets +1 to reanimation protocol rolls, which was like you rolled per model every time they died. It was a different mechanic. If you are standing on top of it, you get a 5+ invulnerable save. And cover, I guess. Receive cover from units not on the same tile. Oh, man. Also, it explodes for D3 mortal wounds. Okay. Incredible. What a mechanic, chats. Oh, man. That's good stuff. Fortification and terrain took up a quarter of the board. You got buffed for being on it. Yeah. Oh, incredible. That's good stuff. What happens if you love Vanguard onslaught rolls but like big monsters like Norns and Screamer Killers and Griffins? What is a Griffin? A Griffin? Like the fantasy creature? I think that you are I think that you're experiencing the like identity crisis of being a Tyranid player right now, where it's like, I want to play Tyranids, which are fast and lethal melee attackers, except the only way to be competitively viable with Tyranids is to play a big fucking guy with a gun. Okay. Great. Cool faction, G-Dub. Yeah, I don't know. I think you play Vanguard for the pressure, and then you follow it up with like with the characters. Oh, Trigons. Yep. You follow it up with the monsters. Like I think there are Vanguard lists that are like 30 Gene Stealers, some gargoyles and shit like that, and then the back line is like the stuff that actually gets you to win, like the big monsters and the guns and the exocrines and stuff. That's what when I played Vanguard, that's what I played. I think I played Tyrannifex triple exocrine, and then the rest of it was like actual onslaught stuff. For a hot minute, I played triple Moloch triple exocrine. That list was rad. And then like I don't think I played Gene Stealers though. They're hard to get value out of, in my opinion. All right, chat. Let's talk about Kieran Wilson and his Reaper's Wager. So I think we are actually playing Harlequins now. For a hot minute, for a really long time, we actually just didn't play any Harlequins in the Reaper's Wager detachment, because the stratagems are so good in this detachment that you can exist in it and still like get wins without actually having a detachment ability. If you don't play Harlequins in your army, your detachment ability entirely turns off, because the Drukhari army starts winning the Drukhari units start winning the wager. You only gain the wager bonus by losing the wager, which means a Harlequin has to kill something. So if you don't have any Harlequins, you don't get anything out of it, except that the stratagems can target either Harlequin or Drukhari and are all incredible. So the benefit, I think, is that now that we have the good or the updated Harlequin datasheets out of the Eldari Codex, people have started to take them back again. So that's good. So we're playing Lilith Hesperax for Fight First, the Infantry Sweepy, Urian Rakarth for the regen, an Archon with Conductor of Torment. So you can generate pain tokens. You can essentially have Drukhari steal a pain token and the wager to become winning it, or you can pay a pain token to donate the wager to Harlequins. So you can, by switching a pain token to one side or the other, you can change who is currently winning if you need to. So that's neat. Although obviously that will change as soon as somebody kills something, of course. We then have a Shadow Seer with Webway Walker, so he gets Deep Strike and reroll charge rolls. The Shadow Seer also has that 18-inch load operative effect, so being able to Deep Strike with him is actually kind of neat. I guess you can get like a sort of annoying troop unit that's kind of difficult to interact with, which is sweet. And then we have a Troop Master with Arc Raider, so he has 9-inch Scout. Let's go. Well, there's a huge unit of Harlequin, so maybe the Shadow Seer goes there. The 9-inch Scout only works if you're inside a transport, so he has to be in a Starweaver, which we do have. So the Troop Master is for sure going with the Harlequin troop. The Shadow Seer, I guess, is probably taking the big unit. But the benefit there, what you can do, this detachment does have an advanced in charge called Shorten the Odds. What you can do is, because the Shadow Seer has that please don't shoot me. You can rapid ingress them in like an awkward place just outside of your opponent's ability to shoot you, and then you advance in charge. So you have a 8 NH move plus 3d6 advance in charge to get back in, which is you only need a 10 with, which is better than a coin flip. And to then charge whatever couldn't shoot you from the get-go. So you actually could just like dump this big troop on people. That's really cute. I actually like that. Wondering why we didn't see more of the detachment. Yeah, it feels like it feels to me like most of the Drukhari armies that are currently seeing play are playing this one. But it usually, I guess, like I don't know if Skari is playing it, but it feels like almost all of the other Drukhari banner waivers right now are currently on it, because I think we saw 2 of them the other day, or a couple weeks ago, go undefeated. I know Emperor's Children will be totally different by the time I'm done making my samurai army. Yeah, maybe. I hope not. Please don't fucking like gut the entire faction. While I'm building a samurai themed Emperor's Children army, by the way. I did a bunch of 3D sculpting on Blender and kit bashing and stuff. Currently, I'm almost done with my demon princes. I have demon princes and I have rhinos, and then I'll do infantry guys. But it'll be cool. Anyway, moving back to this list, we've got 10 Cabalite Warriors, so they can hang out with the Archon. We have a Court of the Archon as well in there too, so they get the big unit. Witches for Lilith, Mandrakes ×2, Scourges ×2, 1 Dark Lance, 1 Haywire Blaster unit. Very nice. You get them wound rerolls of 1 as well if they are losing the wager, which is really nice for them. It just increases their reliability quite a bit. 10 Hellions. I wonder if there's like particular synergy with Hellions. There's a lethal and sustain 1. I guess it's just good to have a big unit that can move really quick. You have a 1 CP, ignore Overwatch, so you can like engage a bunch of people with Hellions and then move the rest of your army just fine. Plus a Void Raven Bomber, plus a Star Weaver. Void Raven Bomber loves to get those rerolls too, because it's such high attack volume as well. With all of the Dark Scythes, the 2 damage Dark Scythe weapons. Interesting, we don't see any Harlequin shooting. That's one thing that can often kind of like, and every once in a while we see like Star Weavers, or Void Weavers, excuse me, see some play, because Harlequins start the game with the buff, which means that in order to, if you're not using Conductor of Torment, in order to switch it back, Harlequins have to kill something. And I guess that's what Conductor of Torment's doing, is that you get to donate the buff to Drukhari right off the bat, so that they can benefit from it with their shooting attacks on turn 1 or turn 2. But also having like Void Weavers or something lets you like flip it really early. But I guess we're just using the enhancement to do that instead. Playing Reapers on mini wargaming, not in major events. You can't even take it to the competitive metagame of mini wargaming and get work out of it. Sag. Void Room, we won't go so hard, gives it sustained hits and full hit rerolls. Yeah, that tracks. Sustained, like lethal hits too, right? I guess either one's good. Especially because it's like the dark sides are like really, I guess we can pull up their data sheet real quick. The dark sides are really like awkward. That's all. Oh, Tube Sentinel energy. They're really low strength, but they're high AP, like mid damage. The big downside is shooting into high toughness stuff. So sustained hits is great against the little guys. And then the lethal hits is good against big stuff. Plus, you get it on the implosion missiles, too. That's 12 shots, strength 8, AP 4, 2 damage. That's delicious. That's delicious. And you can be potentially rerolling once to wounds too if you're losing the wager. You'll love to see it. Sick. There's some Drukhari. Some Drukhari action for y'all, chat. All right, what should we talk about next? We got some Grey Knights. There's a little bit of World Eaters. Now, interestingly, World Eaters, I don't know how much we want to talk about World Eaters because we are probably just a couple weeks away from the entire faction being totally rebuilt, which we'll probably talk about tomorrow. Because I think we have there's a bunch of spoilers and stuff that I haven't covered. I don't usually like to do big productions out of like potential rumors, but we did get a bunch of preview articles and stuff. So World Leaders are getting totally like rewritten, but also they did incredibly well at Glasshammer.
Ryan G donated $5 through Super Chat. Could we look at Craig's Maelstrom Gaming GT winning list? Not only has he shown how amazing of a detachment assimilation is, he now won with Warrior.
Yeah, if I knew what event that was, then we could. For sure. I don't know which event that was. I feel like I would have noticed if a Warrior Bioform Onslaught won a GGT this week. Unless I missed one. In which case, that's embarrassing. Y'all want to look at Black Templars? Alright, let's look at Black Templars. Gary Sacco. Going undefeated, or not undefeated, X1 with Righteous Crusaders. We have a Captain with the Power Fist and a Volkite, sick. Captain and Gravis Armor with Witch Seeker Bolts. It's Anti-Psyker, right? Righteous Crusaders. Witch Seeker Bolts, Anti-Psyker, Devastating, and Precision. You also gain wound rerolls if you have a Whore the Witch, Destroy the Witch. It's also only 10 points, so that's a points filler probably. He's a heavy bolt rifle too. Are we trying to kill people with this guy's gun? What's the damage of the Gravis Captain's gun got updated recently, right? Oh no, it's gonna be slow. Don't be slow on me, chat. Captain and Gravis Armor. Just unironically playing the gun guy. That's wild. Mastercrafted heavy bolt rifle, 2 shots, EP 1, 3 damage. Devastating. Wound rerolls against Psychers. I mean, there are some situations in which that's terrifying, right? I guess, like, all right, that's probably demon technology, right? Because demons are like half the fucking faction is a Psyker. And you just get to plow them for like between 3 and 6 damage every time you shoot with that guy. It's actually kind of neat. I guess you don't get it against like the aggressive like Khorne stuff, but you get it against all of the Tzeentch and Nurgle and Be'lakor, greater demons. Is there any other like really relevant Psychers right now? I don't know. That's fascinating. For 90 points, it's really not that bad. High Marshal Helbrecht, Lieutenant with Sigismund's Seal, which is the Feel No Pain, or excuse me, +1 attack, and then it's a Tannhauser's bonus, the Feel No Pain. We didn't even take that actually. Interesting. So we're not playing the Terminator brick, but we get 5+ critical hits if you are accepting any challenge and +1 attack on just the bearer. But the improved criticals goes to the whole unit plus the lieutenant. So we have potentially 2 5+ critical units. Ooh, scowy. Intercessor squad, double impulsor, double repulsor. What is this? What am I reading right now? What's happening with this list? Okay. Incredible. Blade Guard veteran squad, 6 Blade Guard veterans, Centurion assault and Centurion devastators, company heroes. Who's attaching the company heroes? The captain? We don't have any assault intercessors for him. I guess so, right? Helbrecht plus Lieutenant is probably great for... Oh, we have Primary Sword Brethren too. So maybe it's just the Lieutenant for the Centurion Devastator squad. Captain must be going in Company Heroes because it's just a good unit. Centurion Devastator squad, Blade Guard Veteran squad. Because like obviously getting them 5-up critical hits lethal is good. I would venture to guess. And then we can like fully wombo combo out the Primera Sword Brethren with the 5-up criticals from Helbrecht. And then we have they can go, they're 5 models plus 2 characters, right? So they can go into an Impulsor. The Blade Guard Veteran can go into an Impulsor with 1 character. And then the Captain can also maybe do that, but then the Centurions can go into the Repulsors. The Devastators, we've actually seen this is like sort of the interesting technology that I watched Mark Hurdle use over the last weekend when we were streamed at Battletend Alzheimer's, is that he used the disembarkation range from his transports to basically just improve the maneuverability of his Centurion Devastators, so he could get really good shots turn 1. They also then get the re-embarkation, which is kind of cute, into the Repulsors, which I think can also maybe be useful. And then we have a Centurion Assault Squad, which is just like pretty good. And I think this feels like a little bit funny because the Centurion Assault Squad actually gets a little bit of anti-synergy from the detachment, unless you are suffering not the unclean, because they already have sustained hits on their weapons if they're attacking monsters and vehicles. So they don't really need the additional sustained hits. But if you can give them lethals, it's actually sick. Yeah, this is like a this is like a wild list for sure. Oh, he's taking it to a GT and hasn't played it. I mean, I can still talk about the list. If you link me the list, I will look at it for sure. How are Votann doing? Azuma, very good, as we will discuss momentarily. Yeah, this list is fucking wild, dude. It's so wild. So it's like it's one like end game character break, right? I think the Gravis Captain just plays by himself because he has no attachments. He's just, oh no, there's an Eradicator squad. Oh, excuse me, I totally missed that. Oh, oh my god, this is sick. The Eradicator squad gives full hit and wound rerolls against monsters and vehicles. So if you're shooting at a greater demon, he's devastating anti-psyker 4 reroll wounds. So it's a 75% chance he gets both 3 damage devastates through. That attachment rules. What? I've never considered that before. That's super cool. Or you just fish for devastating against other stuff. Are there good stratagems to Rites of Battle for this guy? I guess like you can Overwatch for free. Oh, you can Fervent Acclaim for free to give him Abhor the Witch. Not that you need it. You don't need that. Who cares? You're rerolling anyway. You're in an Eradicator unit. AOC is good. Yeah, I don't know. Doesn't seem like that many, but worst case scenario, you're just plowing somebody for 6 mortal wounds. That's fucking so cool. Yeah, you can put them into Abhor, which gives him wound rerolls, which like theoretically you're getting anyway. It's wound rerolls against Psyker units, yeah. So it's like good for. Like if you're playing like 1,000 Suns, this is probably he's just a nightmare, like a horrifying nightmare man, because he's just like, I don't know, I'll free strat my Fervent Acclamation and then just kill your Exalted Sorcerer because I have precision anti-psyker dev. This like Glimpse of Eternity, this Infernal Master. Take 6 mortals. This list fucking rules, dude. God, the lists today are so cool. Where did these come from? What Coast GT? You are killing it right now. That's so sick. Wound rerolls versus Tyranids? Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's gonna reroll anyway against Tyranids if he's with Eradicators, but also like, yeah, it helps against the big stuff. You sent me the list. Okay, let's take a peek, and then we can look at some other stuff. Whose list is this? Gary Sacco? You killed it, dude. Your list is awesome. That feels like one of those lists. I think I had a meme on this about this on my channel a while ago, but it feels like when you rock up to an event, to like a game, right? Whether it's an event or a casual game or something, and you look at your opponent's list and you're like, what the fuck is this? There's like a couple of Centurions, like little like small Centurion units. There's like some random characters. There's this like Gravis armored guy, but he's like the Gravis armored guy with like the funny gun and not the double melee weapons. Like, what's going on right now? You don't even have like an aggressor squad to put him into. Like, what's he doing? And it's a literal 50-50 chance that your opponent is brand new and are playing the models that they like and the stuff that they got in a yard sale, or your opponent is an absolute killer and has very carefully constructed many like very important synergies into their army that are going to absolutely ruin you. And this is 100% the latter case. You rock up and you're like, oh, nice and cool Black Templars army, man. And then all your characters get precisioned out by this like full rerolling little piece of shit sniper guy. You're like, wait, where did this come from? Why does Black Templars have a sniper enhancement in their Crusader detachment? I don't know, man. But it's sick and it does 1 million damage. That's cool. I fucking love it, dude. Oh, man. If only I'd won with the all bike list, dude. If I'd played Stormlights, I would have ruined that matchup. That list would have killed if I'd won if I played Stormlights with the all bike list. All right, how do I open this? Open. Nice, we did it. All right, here's the list that we want to talk about. So and it is Warrior Biofarm Onslaught, right? We're sure about that. He didn't list a detachment. I'm gonna assume it is. So this is 5+ invulnerable save for warriors and primes. I think they get battle line and +1 OC too. 39k pro fucking with me right now. I have the thing. Yeah. 39k. Why do I use that to reference anything? It just leaves half of the the detached ability off. Sick, dude. What a website. Yeah, you become OZ3 with warrior models, not the characters. Plus range and melee bioweapon warrior units gain battle line. Good stuff, especially good at Pride and Exodus, because like the number of random things you get from battle line is cool. He's working 3 Tyranid primes, elevated might, so advance and charge. It's like an auto inclusion, sensory assimilation. Couldn't spell assimilation. Okay. You get -1 to be hit. Love it. And we're rocking 18 melee warriors. Excuse me. 6. 2x3 small melee warriors, 1x3 range warriors. Biovore Lictor, 3 Raveners, 2 Exocrins, 2 Tyrannofexes. Now, there's a bunch of synergy with the big guns in the detachment. Because you can improve their EP or strength and EP and stuff. So you can get Ignore cover by shooting them with a ranged bioweapon warrior unit. And interestingly, this feels light on ranged bioweapon warriors. Obviously, the melee warriors are scarier, like for your opponent, but they're also more expensive. And the ranged ones are like way more spammable. I think this is how I felt about it. And also having multiple of them gives you more outlets for this. Otherwise, if they die, then you're a sad panda. But you also can gain +2 strength to ranged weapons as well. So we can put Tyrannifexes to strength 20, Exocrines to strength 11, which are both very relevant breakpoints. Plus, we have a Hive Tyrant to buff them too, which is great. So we can give them lethal hits. Do you mind, Cat? Jesus. Want to come up? Say hi to chat? Yeah, there you go. This is my cat's chats. Here she is. What's up, baby? We're talking about Warrior Bioform Onslaught. Would you play Warrior Bioform Onslaught? You'd play Felinoid Bioform Onslaught, probably. It's like my whole day. Why is my Draco dead? Is it too true? Wait, Draco's 7 wounds though, right? He'd live. It's the Grandmaster guy. It's like is that? I'm gonna fact check myself on that. Is that correct? Maybe I'm thinking old Draco. Draco 7 wounds. He'd be okay. Wait, like you're like, here's my Grandmaster, my fucking Terminator Grandmaster. What are you gonna do about him? Oh, he'll just die. Get out of here. I did teach her the Tyranids are ass. It's true. He's like, Trevi, all I wanted to do was charge people with Hive Tyrants and then use Overrun on them. But I can't do that anymore, so I don't care. Now I play... What does Inky play? I feel like she plays Chaos Demons. She feels like a very Chaos Demon kind of energy. That seems like what it is. And then, yeah, got a Biovore, Lictor, Ravener, so a bunch of utility. Yeah, the one thing that's interesting, I think, is the lack of range warriors. What's the cost difference currently between range and melee? Range is 65 points a unit. Melee is 75. So I guess it's only 3 points a model. Yeah, you couldn't quite fit like an extra unit in there, which is probably where the difference becomes very relevant. You do lose all the sweet guns, though. Those are sweet guns. Some of the list results from his practice at RTTs are surprising. I think this detachment is probably criminally underplayed. Also, to be clear, the other thing that the melee weapon, the ranged weapon warriors let you do is they can fall back and operate normally, which is kind of a big deal. They're like a really good, just like obnoxious trading unit. So you said you played 4 RTTs, 2-0-1 with a tie. Interesting. 2-1 lost against Demons, and then 2 3-0s. Also 3-0s against Grey Knights, Blood Angels, and Necrons. Dread Knights, heavy Psy Cannons kill them. Factual statement. Mass 3 damage is horrifying. Fight first with Blood Angels and Eldar. Yeah, I like that he does say he's like concerned about. So here's the funny thing with Dread Knights is like on one hand, they're the best unit in the game at killing warriors, but also they just fucking vaporize to a melee warrior unit. Like the thing that you're often worried about with warriors, and this detachment specifically offsets that quite a bit, is like T12 vehicles because they're strength 6 in melee, right? So strength 6 twin linked. Once you can get +1 +1 strength, they go to strength 7. They win everything on 5s, and that's usually fine. but they are AP2 into a 2-up, 4-up. They wound on 5s, and generally speaking, with very little help, you can one hit a Dread Knight with 6 melee Tyrian warriors. So like the Granite player also has to play like really cagey from you, because if he ever lets the advance and charge unit in, it's all ogre, man. Now not to mention the fact that Exocrines are also perfectly statted into them. They shoot onto their invuln even through cover, and they wound on 3s without any buffs with lethals, which is perfect. So like you win some, you lose some, right? I think in that matchup, which is probably why he saw success. Yeah, Exocrines are important. Notably no Psychophages. Also notably no Venom Thropes. Venom Thropes are like the first thing I added to my version when I built it, just for the stealth. That helps. Obviously, the Warpbane Dread Knights don't care so much about it because they're rerolling, but in a lot of those situations, it changes the math quite a bit. Yeah, the wording on the strats is super weird, for sure. It's like the stratagems all come from warriors, which means that you like target warriors, but then they project the buff to something else. It's like the obsec the obsec stratagem is like target one Tyranid warriors unit from your army, then select one objective marker you control in your movement phase. It's like the fucking weirdest wording for an obsec strat. But it's specifically worded so that you can move a warrior to an objective that you already have models on and then obsec it. Inky just stood right directly in front of my chat, so I can't read it anymore. Don't yell at me, cat. Full 72 warriors has never hit the table successfully? Yeah, I don't think so. The damage output's just not there. You need... When we first did the Grotsmiths breakdowns, I think I built mine had like 40 or something, or 36 maybe. But you need the big guns, like you need Tyrannifexes and Exocrines, because the warriors are good at melee, but they're never gonna punch through heavy armor by themselves. You absolutely need to like hold, protect lines of sight. You need to be able to trade the warriors into things, so like move forward with the cheaper units and force your opponent to kill them, and then hit them with the big guns on the crackback. Relying on ranged area warriors to do that's never going to work. Anyway, chats, let's go talk. Let's go back to our discussion of the coolest event that's ever happened, apparently. Should we keep talking about Tyranids? There is a Tyranid or X1 Tyranid at Wet Coast. Kenneth Onyabor did it with Crusher. Let's go. So Kenneth over here runs a Crusher Stampede, a Hive Tyrant, Biovore, double Exocrine Maliceptor. This is triple Norn Emissary, by the way. Neurogons, triple Norn, double Ripper, double Tyrannifex. You love to see it. Classic stuff. No Neuro Tyrant. But you don't need the Neuro Tyrant as much, probably, I think, because most of the army Synapse, or the front line of the army, right? The Maliceptor plus Norns. And honestly, probably the Neurogons are all Synapse. So the turn that you are going to activate Shadow in the Warp, a lot of their stuff's going to be testing at -1 and regardless. So it's like probably fine. I like the idea of the Crusher Norns. It feels like the ranged attack deficit, the ranged attack deficiency is like they're so weak to guns, man. It feels so inconsistent to me. If they had a way to get a more consistent way to get a defensive buff against ranged attacks, I think that'd be good. Once they're on their singular purpose objective, it's pretty solid. But if they ever have to leave it, which I think is probably pretty often the case in Crusher because you don't have that many activations, they just fall over, dude. Their profile's like so trash for 260. If they're not gaining the free ammo pain. Kellen Foster in chat. What's up, dude? Nice to see you. Putting your foot back in the door for competitive 40k. Hesitant because you keep getting told the only way to play Chaos Knights is 13 War Dogs. You could do. There's a couple. So it's largely War Dogs. You have to be prepared to run a vast majority of your army as War Dogs. But you can. There's like 500 points of float where you can take like Greater Demons. We saw the Rotigus list with Rotigus and a bunch of Nurgle stuff, plus War Dogs that did pretty well last week, or the week before last. And then you also see like one big knight plus the little knights is another way to do it. So it's like it's not 100% 13 War Dogs, but 13 War Dogs is the most straightforward for sure. Yeah, Rampager's good. Rotigus, yeah, I mean Rotigus is like he's just fucking sick by himself for sure. He's like really cool. No pun intended. I would say you could place like Scarbrand and load op like low on his lonesome, but like real talk, you don't need him. You have carnivores. He advances in charges, but his damage output it exceeds that of a carnivore, but it's not really doing anything you don't get already. So, and his like I guess his unassisted threat range is longer, but who cares? Doesn't really matter. You could play Bellicor. I don't know if I would play Bellicor. He doesn't do anything to Chaos Knights. He's entirely a buff piece, and he's not buffing anything if you're playing Bellicor. If he was like 100 points less, I would say like, yeah, sure, fucking throw Bellicor in there, whatever. But you pay like 100 points in his cost for his support piece, his like support things, and if he's not supporting anything, like why are we here? You could just be taking one of the other Greater Demons. And you don't need to take Battle Line for him, right? Because he's not Allegiant. I think that's the case. All right, let's talk about Norns. 2 Ripper Swarms in this list is interesting. We have a Biobor, right? Yeah. 2 Ripper Swarms. So we have, I guess, like, you can't do actions with them, right? There's no way to gain OC on Ripper Swarms. So they're just there for, like, engage or whatever? I guess they can also muck with other people's OC, right? Because they mess up their OC if they're engaging you. I don't know how often that's going to make a huge difference, though. That's curious inclusion. Because we could be, for 50 points, right? We could be taking utility units that can perform actions. We can't quite take a Lictor. I guess it's just more screens and stuff. It's probably for screening, I guess. They're good to run ahead of the big monsters and prevent stuff from deep striking on you. Or holding down your backline. Yeah, it seems good. I wonder if I should give this list another run. I know every time I do, I'm gonna be mad at it because it makes me sad. But I played the silly list with 2 Hive Tyrants, and that was unnecessary. Swarmlord turns out not worth it, but it seems like maybe just the Singleton Hive Tyrant might be the way to go. It's not too bad. What do Ripper Swarms do? Yeah, they're just like Singleton Deep Strikers. The downside is that they can't do actions. They're no OC. They're kind of like Nurglings that don't infiltrate. And aren't battle line. So they have engagement or objective control if they engage you, which is like cute. So you can do like heroic intervention stuff to muck with people's ability to steal objectives. But the downside is that you have to engage them. So like, not only can you just kill the Ripper, but you could also just like pull out of melee potentially, and then knock off the ability. And it also means that the Ripper can't steal an objective from someone because they have no OC themselves. So there's no way that they can like manipulate the objective control so that they can take the objective back. If there was -1 OC, then it would be a big deal. But it's not. And then they just deep strike. That's the other thing. So for 25 points, you get a base of deep strikes, which is like good in and of itself. Swarmlord Tyrant Guard Empire was the pinnacle of GW unit design. Go fuck yourself. Oh man. Just fucking so bad, dude. Waiting for a 6+ invuln save? No. They're just a little guy. He's just a little guy. Single model deep strike is cute, right? Like it's adorable. You like to see it. Yeah, I hope you don't play a wall that's like wider than 3/4 of an inch because you just get stuck. Oof, sad. All right. What else we got to talk about at this detachment or at this major here? We talked about Black Templars. There's some Imperial Knights. There's some Eldar. There's some Thousand Suns. What do we want to look at, chance? There's a bunch in here at this X1s. Now you remember Rippers? Can't forget Rippers. They used to be like I think in 9th edition they were like 30 points, but they could take objectives and stuff. So you would just take 3 of them in every list. They were super good. It was Spore Mines in those. Yeah, when OC didn't matter, yeah, you would play Rippers individually for sure. It was often superfluous because the Spore Mines would just do it anyway, but it was pretty good. Dig out also at the event when 14 with Vanguard. Hell yeah, dude! Congratulations. Definitely the OC0 change, probably good for game balance, but like kind of I think, unfortunately, assigned a lot of those units to kind of the dustbin because you never really want to be playing those little guys that will like give up purge points and stuff, but can't score half the objectives in the game. Let's talk about some Leagues of Votann. Adam Green over here at Leagues of Votann, running Oathband. The standard detachment. 1 Brokir Iron Master with Appraising Glare. That's been more common. I think probably part of it is that the calls activated ability, his like judgment token ability, is like so awkwardly timed because it's timed in your command phase where you have to have line of sight to an enemy, right? That's how it works currently, right? Which is just like the dumbest, like the dumbest design ever. Yeah, in your command phase, select a visible model to gain a judgment token. So at the start of your turn, your opponent has to go an entire round entire round like in your line of sight essentially for you to generate a judgment token for that guy. Otherwise, he's just granting lethal hits for kind of expensive, right? They're like 70 points, 80 points, 70 points, yeah. So it's weird that like their role has been supplanted by Brokir Iron Masters, which probably means that we're also running a big Thunderkin unit, I imagine. 2 units of 10 Hearthkin Warriors. Yeah, there we go. Boom. Graviton Blast Cannon, Brokir Thunderkin Brick, probably in Strategic Reserve. Pop off a table edge and rip off a vehicle. 10 Chthonian Berserks times 2. Holy shit. 10 Hernkin Jaegers. 2 units of 6 Hernkin Pioneers. Double Land Fortress, double Sagittor. So we're a little bit well-rounded this time around. Interesting, we have 2 units of 6 Hernkin Pioneers. It's not a 6 and 2 3s. It's double 6s, which is quite a bit. But I guess that gives you like access to your offensive strats more. And honestly, their 4 wounds are between 3 and 4 wounds, right? Depending on whether or not you have the heavy weapon, which can mean that Void Armor goes a long way on a big unit of 6. It's actually very difficult to one-shot that unit. Which is neat. But oftentimes, so like we can we have a lot of scouting between the double Sagittars and the double Hernkin Pioneers. So we can kind of construct the wall, right, to prevent enemies from getting in on the land fortresses. Then the land fortresses can deliver these units of 10 Chthonian Berserks. Plus we get 2 units of 5 Hearthkin Warriors for backline too, because they'll both combat squad out of Sagittars. And then I guess the additional benefit that we get from the Hernkin Pioneers playing so aggressively, all this forward operation, right? We have almost 400 points of forward operation. In fact, more than 400 points. 420 points. Is that right? No, 450 points of forward operators. Is that you create a lot of table space to let the Brokir Thunderkin pop off the table edge as well, which is pretty cool. So it's always interesting. I feel like I say this every time, but it's always interesting that like it feels like Leagues of Votann can morph themselves into being like all aggro, super a million scouts, and we're just gonna like push you out of scenario to being more tanky. We're just playing like a Hecaton land fortresses and counterpunching you. And this is like right down the middle. So it basically constructs like 3 separate archetypes because the unit design is so unique because like either there's hyper fast forward operators or they're really slow tanky like hard hitting stuff. And it's cool that they are able to, I don't know. It's cool that like people take them in different weights to change how their list works, which I think is always cool. Played against his list with guard. Landfort killed your turn on your turn. Oh no. Like Overwatched it. The Overwatch with the conversion beamers is the scariest thing, right? Because they're like 2 shots at 6s. If I roll any 6s, you're fucking dead. And you're like, please don't. And then they always miss. But if they hit, it's like D3 extra, 3 more hits. It's 4 for fucking like 4 damage each. Blammo. Does their shootback require them to lose models? Oh, did you say it requires that the enemy has judgment tokens on it? Yeah. So you could reactive off of the land fortresses. The reactive shots is always something that like it's such an important thing to keep in mind, but it's always so weird that they all have different triggering effects. Like half of them require that you lose a model, right? And then like some of them require that you suffer damage. Some of them require that you suffer a threshold of damage, and some of them like this one just require that like your opponent has judgment tokens. So like I don't know, it's confusing, but I mean it makes sense for the judgment token detachment. Oh, he overwatched and reprised it? Shot back twice. Holy shit. That's crazy, dude. I thought you meant like, oh, I was damaged and then I got overwatched and he rolled a 6 to hit on the conversion beam. But no. He just got a whole shooting phase in your turn. Oh my god. That's insane. 3 CP. Hot damn, dude. Yeah, Overwatch on the Thunderkin's good too, for sure. You have to trigger it though. Like their range is so short, and it requires that they like basically target like a certain subset of units, and it requires that they don't just get like eviscerated on the crackback too. Brokir Thunderkin definitely like feel every time I see them on the table, they feel like a one-hit wonder. It's a good hit, right? They're gonna pop in and they're gonna basically kill one of anything. If they're not shooting into Armor of Contempt always makes feel so sad for them, but if you don't have access to that, they're gonna like ruin your day. But then you're shooting on the crackbacks and like do a ton of damage to them because they're not super hard to kill. I'd pay 3 CP to have a 6th turn, yeah, for sure. Absolutely, dude. That does seem like a pretty good strat. I just get to time walk the game for 3 CP. All right, I'm in. You got it, man. It's like old Agents Effect, right? Or like, it was like 3 CP, like, or 4 CP, right? Old Agents Effect was 4 CP, blank your opponent's stratagem when they used it. Wild. What a time to be alive. All right, I want to talk about Thousand Suns, chat. David Burdett Played some Cult of Magic. Whoa! All right. There's 2 Terminator Sorcerers. What are we doing? Hold up. Excuse me? Are we playing multiple Scarab Occult Terminator units? They do keep reducing the cost of Scarab Occult Terminators. Have they reduced it to the point where they're actually worth playing? I guess is the open question. We have an Infernal Master with Arcane Vortex, so the normal stuff, he can +1 strength and damage. He's going to do 1,000,000 trillion damage and kill the universe. Magnus the Red doing other things. And then 2 Terminator Sorcerers. So the Thousand Suns Terminator Sorc gives a targeted reroll once to hit. They target an enemy within 18 inches invisible in the shooting phase, and you get reroll once they hit against it. So it's kind of like an alternative version of the regular Chaos Sorcerer, Terminator Sorcerer. We have 1 with Umbral Crystal. We have 1 so he can up down at start of your turn, and then we have 1 with Athenaean Scrolls to get an additional Cabal point. I almost said command point. Rubric Marines for the that dude guy. What's he called? Fucking Infernal Master. Joining too funny. I'm too tired apparently after Best Armies this morning. Mutolith Vortex Beastie plus double Scarab Occult Terminators, 20 Scarab Occult Terminators, 2 units of Thousand Suns Cultists as well. Okay. How many units does this list have? 1, 2, 3, nope. 3, 4, 5, plus 2 Cultist units? Jesus. 5 plus 2 Cultists. That's wild. Yeah, their shooting attack is also good. Yeah, for sure. Let's grab my data sheets. I closed my window. I suck, chat. We'll just get it off my hard drive. No ads on my hard drive. So he has some weird anti-synergy, which is like a little funny. He grants lethal hits. The full Wombo combo, for those who haven't seen that, by the way, is that... oh, it's not right. That's X-Warp. We grant devastating wounds with Wrath of the Materium, right, to every psychic weapon in the army. Standard, right? That's just like, we lock that in and we're good. We then, if you are fully comboing out the Scarab Occult Terminator unit, you go +9 range to psychic weapons. So we go Ensorcelled Infusion, so that Infernal Combi Bolters. So every model in the Scarab Occult Terminator unit has an Inferno Combi Bolter. You can take Soul Reaper, but I think you take Missile Racks and then Combi Bolters and everything. Usually, what did this guy do? This one did take Missile Racks and Soul Reaper cannons, which is fine. It just means that the Soul Reaper cannons have a higher attack volume, but don't benefit from the psychic weapon synergies, which means that I think their damage output on the go turn is like equivalent, if not slightly worse, but they're better on every other turn, so it's like whatever. But you give all their Inferno Combi Bolters psychic, so you get the Combi Bolter off the character plus 8 additional Combi Bolters. You increase their range by 9 to 33, so that they rapid fire at 16 and 3/4. You then give them full hit and wound rerolls from Devastating Sorcery, and then if you're sat next to Magnus, they get +1 to wound. So you're wounding on 2s, rerolling. You have awkwardly lethal hits from the attached character, and also devastating, which is a little bit funny because you're gonna lose out on a bunch of potential devastating by rolling lethals, but it doesn't matter so much. You're also okay with just like providing damage, and then you can reroll the wound roll and fish for devastating damage. So it's theoretically it's 8 times 4, 32 full rerolling devastating weapons. Excuse me. 9 times 4, so 36 full reroll devastating, and then all of those will also apply to the sorcerers psychic powers. So the Terminator sorcerers shoot anti-monster, anti-vehicle, devastating. Again, they have lethal hits and then also devastating weapon. A little bit funny, but he's with full rerolls, he's likely good for between 4 and 6 mortal wounds to a vehicle. The rest of the units, like probably like 6 to 8 mortal wounds, I imagine. And then you're also firing Hellfire missile racks, and then also giving them regular damage too. And then I think you have a warp smite. I believe that the Scarab Occult's sorcerer has a 3-shot warp smite as well. Yeah, so his is slightly better than the regular one. It doesn't have any like relevant psychic like special keywords really for shooting at big stuff, but it is also a psychic weapon, so it's also going to be benefiting. So it's basically like you're shooting another like 3/4 of a Stormbolter with all that stuff active. So it's like 42 shots or 39 shots. Hitting on 2s, full reroll, lethal, devastating, and then 12 more shots that are just rerolling once to hit from the Soul Reaper cannons that are devastating, and then 4 strength 10 AP2 3 damage Hellfire missile rack shots. It's a lot of damage when you put it all together. Plus, sometimes they also just like randomly charge, and then they hit you with their melee attacks, and they're not bad in melee. They're 3 attacks each, strength 5 AP2 2 damage. It's not good, but it's you also get lethal hits in melee too from the sorcerer, which is neat. It's gonna do something for sure. Does it even score secondaries? Yeah, that's a great question. The cultists do a lot. Oh, there's 20 cultists. Wait, I didn't even realize. 20 cultists is wild. I guess we're just hoping to go first. You get so much board control with 20 cultists if you take it to go first. That the 20 sends your I wonder if this is exactly 2,000 points. It sure is. Oh no, it's 1995. So you could be taking 3 units of cultists, but we just decided not to. The 20 cultists lets you your temporal surge go farther, so they scout 6, so you can scout 6, advance potentially up to 12, and then temporal surge 6 more. So you can move them basically to your opponent's deployment line or close to it on the top of turn 1, and prevent their entire army from moving. They kill them, which gives you a CP when they die, which is great. And then you can start to teleport your Scarab Occult into like really aggressive positions. So that's like a huge tempo play, and I imagine that's where it got a lot of wins. Is that it went first, tempoed out the opponent, and then just like beta struck them on turn 2 and just fucking did a ton of damage. Even if you don't like fully combo out the Scarab Occult Terminators, they get enough damage out of their heavy weapons and the sorcerers that they are, especially if they get the buffs from Magnus, that they're like good to kill medium stuff by themselves. Essentially, they don't really need to like fully combo out, and then you can dump all that CP into Magnus doing Magnus things, and then like attrition your opponent's army out from there. Oh, that's true. Yeah, it would be 10 more points. Yeah. So I guess, yeah, they probably didn't have the points to take the extra guys. I thought it was 5, but you're right. It is 10. That's fair. That's a wild list. Yeah, I guess there's, well, so for 45. Oh, they upped the cost of Zangor Enlightened, right? To 50. Yeah. Zangor Enlightened used to be 45. I have a sneaking suspicion that if this list was played, whatever, 6 months ago, it would have Zangor Enlightened instead of the additional 10 cultists for an additional separate unit to go do actions. But I don't think there's any way to spend 45 points in this army. Yeah, I don't think there's any individual units. Zangor Shamans are kind of expensive, right? They're like 60. Yep, 60. Interesting stuff. Pretty neat list. Like I said, chat, these are all like kind of like non-meta, which is like it gets me excited. I don't know. This is like the coolest art. This is the coolest event to ever happen. Everything's cool. Speaking of non-meta, how about this exactly meta Ultramarines list? Get out of here, Peter Yap. You didn't get the memo that all your lists had to be cool and unique? Womp. This list, I guess it's, excuse me. It doesn't have infiltrators. It has 2 intercessor squads. Big difference. Let's go. What's interesting is that if we look at Glasshammer real quick, Josh Roberts, who popularized that list at LVO, played against almost exactly that it had a Desolator squad, so it was like kind of more ranged oriented. We played against almost exactly that list in the finals game with Blood Angels and beat it. Beat his own list to win the event, which is I just gonna get a kick out of. That's so funny. When did they change the strat so you can't use the strat to reroll hits and wins in Magnus and Melee? They never changed it. You could never use it to reroll in Melee. If anybody's done that against you, they cheated. It's a shooting phase only. That's all how it's always been, chat. Shooting phase. Ever since the original printing. All right, folks. Let's look at Grey Knights. This is Warpaint Task Force with a bunch of guys. Maybe we have. We've burned out our unique and cool lists. I had a video about it doing it in Melee. I don't think so. I hope I didn't. If I did, link it, and I'll correct myself. I might have misspoken at one point, like at the start of the edition or something. That you could. I think I thought you could for a minute, and then I reread it when I started playing Thousand Suns and was like, oh shit. But yeah, it's definitely always been shooting phase. I don't think that there's a way to get Magnus rerolls in Melee. Oh, what you can do, and what I have done before, is used echoes to give him CP rerolls. And I believe that they have, I think that it works currently that you can give him multiple command point rerolls. If he echoes is in the phase, you can then like command reroll him and then echoes for a second command reroll. Which is like not quite rerolls, but it's close. Johnny Lecticio coming out to Portland, Oregon. That is a trip for me. Send an email to my business email address. It's linked on my channel page. Yeah, I would be happy to discuss it for sure. That's on Scintillating Legion. I think it's fine. I don't think it's particularly strong. It's kind of just like doing the regular what is the fucking index attachment name? I played it for Demonic Incursion. Jesus Christ. It's just doing Demonic Incursion slightly differently, which is fine. Like, I think that's okay, but it doesn't have a lot of damage. It's just playing like a scoring game, which is okay. It's just inconsistent in my opinion. We've already gone over Votann, chat. Yep. We did talk about Votann. All right, let's talk about this Warpaint Task Force. We've got Castling Crow. We've got a Nemesis Grandmaster. We've got Kaldor the Drago. We have a Brotherhood Terminator squad for Drago to hop into for the super fast charge. The Strike Squad, Interceptor Squad, triple Nemesis Dread Knight, triple Purifiers. And these are all little baby Purifier squads, right? Oh no, we have a big unit. So a big unit for Castling Crow to hop into, and then 2 regular Purifier squads. And that's it. That's what's going on. That's pretty standard, to be honest. This feels like when the when the detachment first dropped, this feels like what the list that everyone built. And I think that now that they have, they nudged Nemesis Dreadknights a couple times, and they nerfed the Purgation tech, which makes me sad. It feels like everyone's just back to that, right? I guess like there is the Interceptor squad in here, which is really cute for switching objective control on things, which I think is super useful. Plus, they're just like a really good unit to use for utility stuff. But otherwise, it feels like just such a normal Warpaint Task Force list. I don't know. It doesn't even feel like it's necessarily like meta. It just feels like so, I don't know, basic, I guess, which I like. I have any hot takes about the Death Guard spoilers? We'll talk about the Death Guard stuff tomorrow. I want to talk about all the rumors and stuff tomorrow on Tactical Tuesday. Because I haven't actually read any of them yet, so so we'll do that then, I think, for sure. Double 6-inch charge turns always so sweaty. Yeah, for sure. If you do the like the nesting doll deep strike plus Caldor Drago's deep strike, it feels like over aggressive. I don't know, because it seems like the detachment is so low on command points anyway that if you need to 6-inch deep strike a unit plus hold up a CP for rerolls, for a CP reroll, plus you probably want wound rerolls when you get there, especially with Castling Crow's unit, then like 3 CP in a turn for a detachment that only generates 2 CP per battle round, it feels really scary. I don't know. They need new data sheet abilities. So few viable builds in Grey Knights. Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's kind of like it's the problem of index detachment or index factions, right? That haven't really gotten too many buffs. I would love to see them maybe go back and do a revisit to teleport Strike Force, because it feels like they kind of out of the blue they dumped a bunch of nerfs on that right as they were releasing Warpaint Task Force. It's kind of a Tactical Brigade and Mordaka situation. They're like, Tactical Brigade has too high of a meta representation. We're going to nerf it, and then also at the same time release a version that's strictly better and does the same thing. And you're like, all right, why'd you do this? And they were like, we're going to nerf it, your Armor of Contempt effect. We're going to nerf your Dread Knights. I think they did another thing, and I forget what it was at the same time. And then also released this Warpaint Task Force that has like literally 3 times the damage output, and you're like, okay, I guess we're playing that now. And I would like them to go back to Teleport Strike Force and play that again, because it does feel like if Warpaint Task Force is like the offensive detachment where you play Purifiers, Nemesis Dread Knights, but then the Terminator detachment is a Teleport Strike Force. That feels like enough variety, right? That you at least have multiple archetypes to play with. You're missing like a way to play vehicles in any reasonable situation and stuff, but that would at least give them a little bit more variety than they currently have. Oh, they took away the 3-inch deep strike. That was it. That was the one. Yeah, Mist of Deimos for sure is a big deal. People have learned how to deal with reactive moves. Yeah. Mist of Deimos is so far, like so much farther above, like far and away, like stronger than a reactive move. Is like crazy though. I do feel like the metagame's like certainly ready for it, but man, I think people probably have forgotten like how much of a dick punch that stratagem is. It's crazy. It's so crazy strong. Oh, and the Magnus deep dive? I'll rewatch it and make sure that I said the right stuff. I hope I did. I would be surprised if I did that, but it wouldn't be the first time I've misquoted a rule for sure. Yeah, we saw Warpaint or a Teleport Strike Force win a GT a couple weeks ago, which I was like excited about. It's cool that it's like still seeing play for sure. At least to some extent. Oh, I did say the right stuff. All right. Well, thank you for fact checking me, Ryan. I appreciate that. I would rather, even if you're wrong, right? I would rather someone double check what I say and make sure that I'm like providing the right information than everyone just assume that I'm right all the time. Because I've definitely made rules mistakes before. I'm not like an infest, some sort of infallible like omniscient entity. I pride myself on knowing the right rules most of the time, but I definitely have not ever, I definitely have never made a mistake ever. All right, chat. Anything else you want to take a peek at? See if there's any other cool ones in here. Is the Militarum just hammer stuff? Yep. I talked about Hammer of the Emperor on the video this morning, so I don't know if I want to do that. And the Berserker Warband is a normal Berserker Warband, so that's a little bit boring. You deep strike turn 1. I'm gonna kill myself. Yeah, these lists were awesome, dude. Oh, there's Imperial Knights. Let's look at Imperial Knights shits. Looks like it's kind of standard stuff. 2-headed giants. We played with 2 people in this game. Canis Rex, Cerastus Atropos of Mysterious Guardian, so we can up, down, and deep strike. You love to see it. I think the Atropos is the best place for that. In my opinion, it's just like its guns are so good, and it wants to reposition itself and do like rapid ingress plays for melee that I feel like you just want to play it on that guy. I don't know. Sometimes I see it on like weird stuff, like people put it on their like Cerastus Lancers or whatever, and I'm like, what are you doing? But your Atropos is right there. Just run the Lancer down the midline and force people to attack it. That feels like the best place for that guy. Double Halverin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Warglaives. Oh, that's it. Cool. Straightforward. Straightforward as ever. Thank you, Arbiters. You're the best. Sick. All right. Well, I was kind of expecting an Immolator in the bottom there, but no, we're just running War Dogs. Armigers, excuse me. Just Armigers. That's pretty basic stuff. That's normal army. The teleporting harpoon. I know, the harpoon. I actually, I played against Beef Supreme from the Discord, and he was playing it on a Castellan, which I actually loved. I think he also had the Atropos in that one. But if you are going to play it on a Castellan, that's actually, it's like a mind fuck. Because you're like, all right, we have to always like assume the Castellan start range, because if it ever spikes its Volcano Lance, I'm fucking dead. It kills literally anything. Does like 18 damage to whoever. And the stupid thing was like, I can just be anywhere. I don't know. Fuck you. Like, I can't screen the whole table. So you just have to let it shoot you. And it's so hard to kill on the crackback. I think people have forgotten like how annoying the like 2+ save knights are, because everyone's worried. Everyone's so used to playing against the 3+, like 5+, 3+, 4+. Save knights, that the 2+ save in cover is with 1 million wounds and a feel no pain is like, ugh, what a fucking slog. Gotta get through this whole guy, and if you don't, he's just gonna Volcano Lance you again. So I really liked that. It really toilet bowled the whole game. Obviously the Castellan's like not quite as widely played, but that is a place I would consider it for sure. I think that it's whichever knight is your like scariest gun platform is I think where Mysterious Guardian should be, in my opinion. That's the playing on the other side against knights. That's always the scariest place for me. Just gotta charge it. Yeah, but he gets to set up where it like he gets to put it down. Also, I think you can up down out of melee with Mysterious Guardian. Is that right? Actually, I have no idea if that's the case. Oh, not it's not. It's you have to be not in engagement range, so it does get locked in once you engage it. But yeah, he just I think I did end up killing it with a Trigon or something, but like I was playing Tyranids at the time. But as you can imagine, it took literally an entire Tyranid army to kill that one knight, and then the other knights just like rampaged around the board and killed me. And if I didn't, he was just gonna kill like 2 monsters every turn. I was gonna lose. But I think the only reason that I was able to kill it was that he like Mysterious Guardian and I ingressed like just out of its line of sight. When the Trigons could ingress 6 inches or 3 inches away. You could like ingress exactly like around the corner of a building and then immediately hit them, which was pretty useful. That was it. That was a good game. It was a fucking bitch for Tyranids to kill a 2+ save knight though. Oh my god. What a well-designed faction Tyranids are. I know Noah Bedom's on a Green Tide push right now as well. He went X1 at the event. He's actually been posting his army in the Discord. I'll give him a shout out here. He posted his army, I think, on the lead up to this event, I want to say. He did. And I guess the Discord compression makes it look pretty not great. This army is really pretty, and apparently, according to what he said in Discord, it's all cell shaded, which is like fucking insane. This man has the dedication to cell shade an entire Green Tide army. Are you kidding me, dude? Also, look at this fucking battle wagon. He's so cute. I love him. But yeah, this army looks great. But he was playing double Pain Boy, double War Boss, Ferocious Show Up, Brutal Cunning, 1 Weird Boy for the up down. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 units of boys plus a tenor, so 90 boys. 1 truck, 1 battle wagon, 1 flash kit, 1 Gretchen, 1 commando, 1 storm, double storm boy, double tank busta. I think that's like becoming the more standard version of Green Tide. The commandos are, I think, important for Green Tide to like sort of maintain momentum, because they have to be able to take the mid board on turn 2. If they can't, then things go really poorly for Green Tide. They have to like run up the score really early and save themselves a unit for the late game, so that then they can like flip objectives towards the end. But if they just get bowled over, it's really bad. And then we have 10 that can, or a brick of 20 that can hang out in the battle wagon for the early game. And obviously Storm Boys for utility, and Tank Bust is just for shooting. It's 1 truck, right? So we can fill it with Tank Bustas and then just like run them out whenever we need them. Nine, 2, 3, not that good. To 212, yeah. That matchup was so brutal. I remember playing a game before Tyranids got the Synapse updates, where my entire army shot into a war dog, like an armiger war. I think it was just a war dog, like brigand or something, and didn't kill it. And I was like, sick, man. That was like 1,200 points of shooting. Like, I go fuck myself. It's like fucking insane, dude. The entire army capped at strength 9. Is just ludicrous. Absolutely ludicrous. Whoever wrote that codex should be fired. It's like a travesty. It's so bad. What list am I making for Emperor's Children? Probably Coterie. I'll start with Coterie and then we'll play with some of the other stuff. I have a game with Coterie after this. It's in about 2 hours. 2.5, just about. So it's 6 p.m. US Eastern. It'll be on Twitch, so we'll be live after this live stream over on Twitch in a couple hours. I'm playing against Necrons, I believe, which is interesting. I actually have no idea how that matchup's going to go. It feels like Emperor's Children actually has what it takes to punch through Awakened Dynasty, but I don't know. Having like precision on literally every single weapon actually feels like kind of sweet. Well, you want a Resurrection Protocol? You want to do it again? I'll continue. The beatings will continue until morale improves. Necrons using the Tomb Citadel? They're not using the Tomb Citadel. Am I skipping the Pain and Suffering list? No, I can't skip the list. But this was the only day that we could schedule all this. This is for the GT, so I have to schedule the game today. We'll play the Pain and Suffering list as soon as I have like an open slot, essentially. All right, chat. How are we feeling? Anything else we want to talk about? I'm a little low energy, I think, right now, so I might lie down. I recorded a video just before this, so it has been a hell of a morning for me. Precision melted that dude? Yeah, for sure. Boop. Boop. Take that, Technomancer. What? No save? Sick. Slam. Big 9 damage. You piece of shit. Custodes. You can see if there's any Custodes to take a peek at. There is X2 Custodes at Birmingham. We talked about some Solar Spearhead on Best Armies that won a GT. I think they won a GT with a natural draw, which is like really pretty impressive, to be honest. Oh, there's X1 at Nerd Bar. We'll talk about that. Nerd Bar GT over in South Carolina. Mike Robertson went 4-1 with Adeptus Custodes. Running. Lions of the Emperor. Let's go. Blade Champion with Superior Creation. And Admata Mortis Shield Captain in Terminator Armor with the Axe. Big benefit is that Admata Mortis improves your AP, and the Axe's base AP sucks, but it's higher damage, so... and especially because you want to be swinging this guy into big stuff, because he gets full hit and wound rerolls if he's inside an Alaris Custodian unit, which I imagine he is. He goes kind of insane. That's like... It's so straightforward, right? It's just like, here's a bunch of statistical improvements. But for 10 points, I think for cost, it's probably the best defensive enhancement in 40k. And I don't even think that's particularly controversial. It's +3 strength, +1 AP, +1 damage, right? +3 strength, +1 AP, +1 damage, yeah. So for 10 points, you get 5 characteristic improvements. You compare that to like 20, is it 20 points for Honor Vehement? Or 25? Which is +1 attack, +1 strength, and can get to +2 on a good day. There's 15 for Honor Vehement. So for 5 more, you only get +2 characteristic improvements, and you can get +4 if you like go through jump through some hoops. This one is just +5 like baseline, which is crazy. Do you have to enter tournaments with your real name? No. Mine is Trevi with the my account name is Trevi with a picture of a turtle. Like, you can use whatever you want. We get people with funny screen names in here all the time. It's easily worth 30. Yeah, 30 might be a lot, but 25 for sure. It's crazy that it's 10. And honestly, like, I'm a huge proponent of like degenerate hero hammer, so I'm in for more powerful enhancements. If GW, if you want to increase the general power level of enhancements, be my guest. Let's make them all super good. It's 2 individual shield Donegal Jetbike shield captains. We do have units of Virtus Praetors with salvo launchers. So I wonder if we're using these guys as ranged attackers, because the weird part about them is that they don't get a huge benefit from Lions of the Emperor because they don't really get any benefit from it in melee. But the salvo launchers with +1 to wound is huge because you're firing a bunch of like Melta twin linked like high AP shots, and so a +1 to wound off those guys is like nuts. So that's actually probably really good. Double Venatari Custodians, double Witch Seekers. Interestingly, we have a Vexilla Custodian Guard squad and a 4 Guardian Sphere squad. So we have like a high OC unit and then a more offensive unit. Usually the 4 Guardian Sphere squad gets attached to Kyria Draxus, so you get the additional shots when you use your Sentinel Storm with her. But we don't have Kyria Draxus this time, so we're just, I guess, playing them for a little Sentinel Storm unit by themselves. Restocking the fight move is really nice. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, with what's it called? Gilded Champion is the name of the stratagem. Yeah. It's a little awkward because you have to pre-declare it. I think the craziest one to me is the Alaris Shield Captain, using his reduced damage to 1 at the start of the phase, so your opponent's disincentivized from attacking him because most of their damage is going to be blanked, and then that likely means he survives. Then you get to use it again the next turn. So like the Alara Shield Captain feels like such a windmill slam in that situation. The Donegal Jetbike Shield Captain might just die. I don't know, but if you use it on your opponent's turn, if they charge them, like you're using them as a gunboat and then they get charged, and then you get to use it in their turn and then restock it and then use it again on your turn, that'd be sick. That feels like Magical Christmas Land. It feels like you've already kind of like won the game, I think, at that point. The strength is the strats and not the +1 to hit and wound. It's so hard to proc. It's interesting. I guess I've only played one game with it, and I did play with all Terminators, which I think makes it much easier to proc the effect. But that might be the case for sure. It does feel so transformative to the ranged attacks, though. Like Alara's Custodians being +1 to wound is huge. The Virtus Praetors, I imagine, is enormous. And it's probably much easier to do so in the shooting phase because you get to do it immediately after moving, right? Versus the charge phase where your units might be reconverging after charge moves. But I get that for sure. I think there's a lot of instances where you like accidentally realize that you're a little too close to something. I found myself like asking for takebacks a lot and like, oh dude, I'm like a 1/4 inch in on 6 inches of this guy. Like, can I shuffle my dude? Obviously I'm supposed to be slightly farther away. Help me. Help me. Later in the game it works faster. Yeah, for sure. That's what I found too. Anyway, chat. Good discussion about Custodes. Appreciate that. Yeah, West Coast GT sounded like a fucking absolute insane, an insane time. I'm sort of upset that I missed it because the fact that we got so many like hyper unique armies doing well is super cool. Yeah, I talked about a Death Watch list in my best armies in 40k video. If you watch my video from this morning, there's Death Watch in there. They won a GT. But yeah, super excited about the all the cool innovations going on in the metagame right now. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up there. I have a live stream tonight, so 6 p.m. US Eastern time. I'm gonna be playing Emperor's Children versus Necrons. I'll just overshoot charges. It's true. It's true. And then complain about it on Twitter. I'm definitely gonna. I don't want to be like hyper negative. I'm going back and forth because I'm like, I played a game last week. The context chat, for those who don't know, who don't follow me on Twitch or watch all my videos, first of all, you should. But the context was that I went to go play a game with like a really experimental demons list I was playing with. And I played against Emperor's Children, and I lost the entire game because of one charge phase, where all of my units slightly overshot and had to base contact enemy models, which like forced me to either reroll successful charges into failures or like blocked my other models from getting base contact. And it pissed me off so hard that I don't know. I want to like make a whole video complaining about the 10th edition charge rolls because I think they're the worst that 40k's ever had them. It's like crazy. And it makes me really mad. But I don't want to be like super negative, but I also think that 10th edition has some like really huge glaring issues still, and I think it's definitely worth like talking about, especially because we are in the production cycle of 11th edition, and I think it's like an important thing to like bring up into the cultural zeitgeist of like, guys, just so we're clear, the charge rules of this game are really, really bad. Can we, now that like we're in development of a new edition, can we do those again? Can we maybe roll it back to 9th edition or something? Like, you know, or better yet, just fucking get rid of them. Like, we don't need all this shit. And it was just like, it was so emblematic of like of just the worst case scenario of the charge mechanics, which was just like super stupid. Ugh, yuck. It happens a comical amount of times. Yeah, well, I think part of it, well, I tend to play melee armies. And I tend to play melee armies of big stuff. I'm like a Timmy at heart, I guess. And I like to play big monsters and shit. And so melee armies of models with large bases that are not infantry, I think are probably like the three most hard hit unit archetypes of the 10th edition charge rules. And I think it's, you know, and then also the fact that I just like stream literally all my games, right? Like I think helps a lot too. So there's a really big, a broad spectrum of of results to look at for sure. It's personal. Yeah, they've made the charge rules specifically to call me out for sure. Yeah, the Be'lakor charge was like so stupid too. That was compounded by, so like Be'lakor charged and he had to move to base contact, and the way that I had it set up, and I could have played around this, but I didn't pre-measure my movement, and I assumed that he and a Rendmaster could both engage my target, which is true. I could, but only if they didn't have to go to base contact. But because Be'lakor rolled just enough to have to get to base contact, I think he hit it by 1. So he had to go into contact with his target, which meant that between him and like a little ruin wall that was blocking my movement, the Rendmaster couldn't get in. Which was like, oh, that's really frustrating because the Rendmaster would have like sent this fucking guy to the you know, to the Shadow Realm. And then Be'lakor rolled his attacks and did 1 damage against the Demon Prince, and the Demon Prince just turned around and hit him for 12. I was like, great, 10th edition at its best, incredible. Like there's a pretty reasonable chance that Be'lakor just fucking kills that guy anyway because he's like devastating sustained hits and everything. But and then he rolled like a million 1s and 2s to wound to my opponent, like made all but 1 save. I was like, sick, dude. Incredible. Oh man. It was funny. It was a funny situation. Anyway, chat, thanks for watching. I'm going to go ahead and pop off. I will be live, so later on this evening, obviously, and also tomorrow morning. Don't forget as well, I'm going to be live this weekend streaming the ATC Tampa. So we're going to be doing some Team 40K. I'm going to leave on Thursday morning, going to head down to Florida, beautiful, sunny Tampa, Florida. And we're going to stream some Team 40K over there, which I am excited about. So yeah, definitely come check me out for that. I'm going to be getting the video events up, or the stream events up for that momentarily. But I'll see you there. So lots of streaming going on this weekend. And then next week we're going to be at Richmond Open. So 2 back-to-back event coverage weekends, which will be cool. Let's all go to Florida. I agree. Let's all go to Florida. Indeed. All right, with that, chat, I'm going to pop off. Thanks for watching, everybody. Keep it classy, folks. Have happy wargaming, all that stuff. And I will see you on Twitchies in just a little bit.